Good morning, Bucknutters. It's Tuesday, May 12th, 2015. I am Dan Rubin. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5. Yes, it is the off-season, or what Ohio State makes of the off-season, which means the staff is hard at work. Still, we want the BM5 to be a little bit more interactive this off-season. We're going to need you to get involved. So our first topic today will really be more of an introduction to a discussion that I hope we can keep up on the message boards for a while. Was Tresselgate worth it? That's the question. Coming up on the 4-year anniversary of Jim Tressel's resignation, so much has happened to Ohio State since then. It was a low point for the program. As I've said before, we now sit on the possible zenith or are approaching it for an iconic program like Ohio State. Was it worth it? We go into that. I give you my opinion. And then we're joined by the Dean of Midwest Recruiting himself, Bill Kurelic, with his picks to click. 3 guys that could very well end up in Ohio State's recruiting class for the class of 2016. I've said partly in jest recently and on the air a couple times that the only person more responsible for Ohio State's resurgence, or surge as it were, to the top of the college football world is Terrell Pryor over Urban Meyer. Listen, if Terrell hadn't been what he was, would they have gotten in the trouble they did for Tresselgate? I'm of the mind that they would not have. But that's the question we're going to ask today. Was Tresselgate worth it? May 30th, 2011, coming up on the 4-year anniversary of when Jim Tressel officially resigned his position as head football coach. And it was a dark time for the program, there's no question. It wasn't just the football team. The entire reputation of the university was sullied. Anywhere you went, Ohio State became the poster child for what was supposedly wrong in college football. They were known as cheaters. It was possibly even more damaging to the Ohio State psyche because this was a program that wasn't considered to be the outlaw rogue program that these SEC teams were. There was an impression of Jim Tressel as, the senator, of doing it the right way. So the fact that it was Tressel that was called into question, to me, made it even more hurtful, destroyed the moral fabric, or threatened it of Ohio State. But the question is, was it worth it? Because there's no question, as good as Jim Tressel was, and he was fantastic, but what Urban Meyer has done in his short stint so far at Ohio State, it's been nothing short of miraculous. If you look at the way Urban came up, it's actually kind of predictable that if you put him at Ohio State, he would get this done. That said, that was such wishful thinking at the time that anyone who thought that they would get as far as they've gotten this quickly was certainly optimistic. So to me, as I look back, I'd have to say it was worth it. It's somewhat painful because Jim Tressel's career and life will always have it on there, and Tressel gave so much to the university that it's a challenge to say that. And what's interesting is I think Tressel in some way wanted Ohio State to be where it is now, but couldn't get it there. Bringing Maurice Clarett into the program, bringing Terrell Pryor into the program, Tressel thought he knew what it took to get them over the top, going for that extra talent, maybe risking on the character side. Meyer has taken a different approach, a national recruiting approach, and the proof is in the pudding. What do you think? You want to go back in time? Were you more happy with the Jim Tressel era and not having that stain on the Ohio State resume? Or was it worth it to have Terrell Pryor come here, do what he did, essentially take the program down on some level, create the opening for Urban Meyer to come in and build what is now the finest football program in the United States of America? Get in that message board thread. Let me know what you think. Here comes Bill.
Buck Harrelson has been known for his picks to click, broadcasting the Chicago White Sox baseball games. And today, I have my Ohio State class of 2016 picks to click. These are several prospects that I feel very, very good about predicting will be in the Buckeyes 2016 recruiting class when all is said and done on National Signing Day. Number 1 on the list certainly would not be a surprise to much of anyone, defensive end Nick Bosa. Bosa has narrowed his choices down Ohio State, Florida State, and Florida. He doesn't have an exact time frame or timeline as to when he is going to make and announce his decision. Could be sometime during this summer, but in any event, when he does make and announce his decision, I feel very good about predicting Nick Bosa to Ohio State. No shocker there. Wide receiver Austin Mack from Indiana is my second pick to click for Ohio State. He is going to officially announce his decision on June 7th, and I feel unless something changes drastically, he will end up announcing that he is an Ohio State Buckeye. He is a wide receiver that Urban Meyer and the staff have long targeted, and one that should look very good in the scarlet and gray. My third pick to click might surprise some people. in that some feel that he might be trending away from Ohio State, but I'm not necessarily of that ilk. I feel there's still a good chance that tight end Luke Farrell will end up at Ohio State. Farrell is certainly considering highly other schools, including Penn State as well as Boston College, and he will visit Michigan State this summer, but he plans to announce his decision in August, and he plans to go to Friday Night Lights at the end of July, and I think that could be the big thing that puts Ohio State over the top to land tight end Luke Farrell. So he is my number 3 Ohio State pick to click at this point. Now, there are a number of other prospects the Ohio State staff certainly has a great shot at landing if they decide to absolutely go all in for those prospects, but these 3 prospects are definitely prospects the Ohio State staff would like to add to their 2016 recruiting class, and these are my 3 picks to click at this point for Ohio State.